Welcome back. This is SeeWing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network, and today I'm going to show you how to retire with one rental property. That's right. So stay tuned. You're going to find out. I'm going to show you all the numbers, all the metrics, so you could make a believer. I can make a believer out of you. All right. So before I go this further, before I'm going to talk about my real estate investment strategy, okay, let's go over the traditional retirement scenario. Like for example, if you were to go to a traditional financial advisor out there, the stock market advisor, whatever, and you're gonna ask them, I want to retire with like $4,000 to $5,000 of monthly income and never run out of money. You know what they're gonna say? In order for you to achieve this kind of financial scenario, hypothetical scenario, they're gonna tell you you need about $1 million of assets. That $1 million consists of all the 401k that you accumulate, all the IRAs, all the stock market portfolio, a combination of all these stock market mutual fund investment for 1 million. So, and they're going to say, oh, you need to have a 4% withdrawal at 5 to 6% return. They're going to say you can need a stabilized portfolio, never run out of money. So 4% multiplied by $1 million of a portfolio, we're talking what? 4%, like $48, let's say $50,000 annual withdrawal divided by 12 months. We're talking what? So you know, 4,000 something dollars monthly withdrawal amount from your traditional $1 million portfolio to achieve a comfortable retirement, okay, of around a little bit more than $4,000 and never run out of money. So the challenge you're facing is how many of us are able to save up $1 million of a stock market portfolio? Not many, based on historical studies. Most people, when they retire, they only have $60,000 of a nest egg. That's pretty tragic. All right. So with that said, if you bypass traditional retirement, I'm going to show you with only $70,000 down payment on 20% down payment to buy an income property using my specific strategy I'm going to share with you, you can achieve $4,000 in excess immediately after you close escrow from buying this one income property. $70,000. So you have to determine, either you need to save up over the next 20, 30, 40 years to accumulate enough $1 million retirement portfolio to trigger a $4,000 retirement income monthly and never run out of money. Okay. Or you can start using the power of income property, the power of leverage with 20% down payment and achieve the similar result. So $70,000 savings versus 1 million. Okay. All right. So without further ado, oh, by the way, please like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and also subscribe, put your email as well on my the website database and the body of the description, so you can become a free member of our real estate investing community of like-minded investors. So you can receive free content around real estate investment opportunities that go into your email inbox. All right. So the strategy I'm referring to is Class A new build turnkey co-living rent by the room investment model, which is a fastest rising real estate asset class. It's going to compete with short-term rental, Airbnb, mid-term rental, traditional long-term rental, and any other real estate asset class. In my humble belief, this new real estate asset class, the way I'm going to describe to you, will hands down will blow all the other real estate asset class out of the water. Okay, fix and flip, BRRRR strategy, BRR, buy, renovate, refinance, repeat the BRRRR strategy. whatever, fix and flip, and buy fixer uppers, buy foreclosures. This real estate asset class, I'm telling you, it's gonna blow every other real estate asset class out of the water and then some. Okay, you don't believe it? The proof is in the pudding. I'm gonna share that with you. This is a real case, real life example. A lot of our a lot of our investors are doing this, and okay, you can do it too, right? You can do it too. You just contact me directly, and we can talk about your situation, and you can be able to do something like this, which I'm gonna about to show you. All right, so here you go. Without further ado, Class A new construction co-living rent by the room investment model. You as a landlord, you as an investor, you as a mom and pop investors can do this. Okay. Okay. This is our specialty within my year listed network. Right. Simple. You buy a single family home, $320,000, a cookie cutter purchase price, right? A little bit less than 2,000 square foot. So you can buy this kind of property as a typical traditional rental property. Okay. Long-term rental. You rent to a family, 1 year lease or annual renewable lease, right? This is very, very mainstream traditional investing. That's been happening for decades and decades and decades, right? But now you can do the same thing. You can buy a co-living new construction property, 7 bedrooms, 7 baths, 1 bedroom, one private bath per tenant, per workforce tenant. The workforce tenant who's making 30, 40, $50 per hour, who cannot afford to rent even a studio apartment that usually rent for 13, $1,400. Okay. So we're just providing this amazing as a landlord. We're providing an opportunity for you as a landlord to fix the housing affordability crisis. There's a lack of housing, especially to these demographics of people. Okay. So I'm not going to venture too much into it. I'm going to focus on the crunching of the numbers only. Again, you can have done other contents, YouTube contents in a YouTube world. You can learn more about the details and dive deeper into the co-living investment model. All right. So, but I'm going to talk about how to retire with one rental. One you if you want to, right? You don't have to retire right away, although you can. Or you can invest for the next 5 to 10 years, buying one or more of this type of investment properties, and your financial future will be transformed for you and your family. Generational wealth building. This is this is it, right? So you put 20% down payment on this single family home, but it's not single family home. You're renting for to seven tenants with 7 bathrooms. Okay, at the end of the day, you charge $1,000 per room, okay, to this workforce housing type of member tenants. At the end of the day, you have a gross rent monthly of $7,000. Okay, annual rent of 7,000. Right? Simple math. Your down payment is, which is 20% or 25%, if you will. Right? So at the end of the day, you have a net monthly cash flow of almost $2,000. But wait, there's more. All right. Your cap rate is 13%. Your annual ROI is 27%. This is just a bare bone minimum. Look at this quality of the constructions. Brand new in a good neighborhood here in Jacksonville, Florida. Of course, we have other markets. We're going to promote the new builds, co-living investment strategies. But Jacksonville, Florida is amazing housing market. We're one of the fastest growing housing market in the country, just so you know, right? Affordable, the whole 9 yards. Good location, B minus to C plus class neighborhood. And those workforce tenants, they love to rent this type of brand new homes, nice and clean and safe environment. All right. So hey, why not? They only pay $1,000. Otherwise, they have to rent a studio apartment for 1,300, whatever, depending on the area, on the metro. And a 1 bedroom apartment is like 1,500, 2 bedroom 1,700, 3 bedroom like 2,000, whatever, right? So, but this is a very affordable. They can save a lot of money. Very, very huge upside for everybody. Everybody try to solve the housing affordability crisis, right? So here the deep dive of the numbers, which is gonna blow your mind. All right. So here are the numbers. Okay. So 20% down payment is $71,000 out of pocket, including closing costs. At the end of the day, we put down 5% vacancy and typically 350 monthly. You show your net operating income 6650. Then your typical taxes, your monthly or annually, as you can see, insurance, property management fee. You have to pay PadSplit. We partner with PadSplit, who does the marketing, who does the pre-screening, just like the Airbnb model. Airbnb do the marketing for those short-term rental operators. We use the same model. The midterm rental, you use like a Furnish Finder, is a marketing platform that market for the midterm rental type of operators. But in our case, our co-living operators, we use PadSplit. Although you don't have to use PadSplit, but that way you can become a passive investor if you use a PadSplit to do the marketing and you use a co-living property manager who can do everything for you. So you can become almost a passive investor. Spend 1 hour per month in managing your real estate portfolio, whether you own one co-living property or 10 or 15 total time. If you do the delegation, if you defer everything to the property management, to the house clipping team, and to PadSplit, the marketing team, you have total time freedom to do whatever you want that are important to you instead of so this is not really active activity. This is almost a passive activity. So but then again, you can also self-manage, which I will also talk about, which will increase your cash flow massively if you can ultimately self-manage, which around maybe 20% of the co-living operators, they do self-manage, which is fine. You can do it from long distance also. All right. So, okay, let's continue with the numbers, which is mind-boggling. Okay, I just created this pro forma, which is very realistic. Now, one more thing that you're not going to get from any other organization because of our unique investment model. Within our network, we have our team is an amazing team, right? We have not only we have property management, the one-stop shop available for our members, for our network of investors, and you and any one of you out there in the YouTube world can participate in this type of off-market investment opportunities. Right. So therefore, we have an amazing incentive loan. Builders incentivize buy down the rate, your mortgage rate, so you can get more cash flow. Normally, as an investor, when you buy any traditional rental property, you do the Fannie Mae lending guideline, right? Or DSCR loan, right? With 20 to 25% down payment, if you will. You typically have to pay like 7%, fixed rate mortgage to finance this kind of property. But we are the only organization which our builder will buy down your rate for you, nothing out of pocket. They pay all the money to incentivize you. Okay, so one such program we have available. This is mind-boggling. It's too good to be true. It's 10-year fixed rate, the first 10 years, on a 30-year amortized loan at 3.5%. 10-year fixed for investors like you to finance this co-living property. When you have such a low rate, that will increase your cash flow even more than what you otherwise are able to. So your monthly mortgage and your principal and interest is only around $1,100. So therefore, you free up more money for cash flow. So let's talk about cash flow, right? Your 20% down payment, your total out of pocket, 71,000, and then your monthly taxes, insurance, property management fee, because you have to pay 8% for PadSplit for the fee monthly, above and beyond the first 10 days of the rent, which they secure your tenant. You have to pay them 10 days. The first 10 days of rent goes to PadSplit. But beyond that, PadSplit will continue to charge you 8% because they do all the rent collection, the eviction if necessary, and all that. So they market. They have this tremendous algorithm to market those members for you to occupy your property. So they're 8% plus another 8% for regular co-living, tailor-made property management, another 8%, which is equal to 16%. As you can see right here, 16% of your rent to the tune of $1,000 will pay for your expenses. So you become a turnkey, remote, long distance, hands-off investor. At least initially, that's what you want, right? We all want time freedom, right? You guys are busy. You guys have a regular job. You guys are engineers. You guys are nurses, doctors. You have very, very little time to actively involve in real estate investing, rental properties. So you delegate to everybody. You delegate to our team of marketers and property managers and what have you, right? So some of you can pivot. I would say maybe 20 to 30% of you eventually, because once you gain experience, you can pretty much self-manage. You can self-manage and no need to pay a total of 16% fee on your high gross rent to pay for those two organizations. Okay. And that way you can have $4,000 monthly net income right from the get-go with self-management, which is equal to the traditional retirement of a $1 million portfolio drawing 4% from a traditional Wall Street type of model, right? So anyway, you got the idea. You get the idea. So at the end of the day, you minus 5% maintenance, 5% vacancy, and all that. At the end of the day, you still get a whopping $2,600 monthly net cash flow. It's just mind-boggling. On a traditional rental, right? A traditional long-term rental, which is fine. A lot of people still do it all over the country for many, many decades. You rent to a long-term tenant, right? 1 year annual renewable lease, whatever, on $320,000 purchase, at 20 to 25% down payment. You're lucky to get like $200 monthly cash flow, at least at the beginning. Is that a bad investment? No, not necessarily. That's how most people get started these days and for many, many decades, right? Those are traditional long-term rental. But when I talk about traditional long-term rental, we talk about co-living, rent by the room investment model, right? And of course, okay, some of you guys saying, oh, with this money, with this purchase, I could do an Airbnb. Well, I'm not going to talk about Airbnb, short-term rental. There's a lot of pros and cons to it, but this model, this return that just I'm showing you, the co-living, will probably beat Airbnb. And mid-term rental, some of you understand what is mid-term rental. I'm not going to get into it. Mid-term rental typically you collect 50% more rent than a traditional long-term rental. So you collect like $3,000 rent, right? 50% multiplied by $2,000 monthly rent on a long-term rental scenario. Let's say 2,500 or 2,700. The cash flow is not even close on a mid-term rental if you're successful running that model compared to co-living, right? Co-living, I'm gonna prove it to you, right? I mean, the return on this co-living situation, which is happening here in Jacksonville, Florida, and additional markets as we progress down the road, right off the bat is $2,600, right? If you self-manage, right, you can save $1,000 of monthly management fee. So you incorporate the $1,000 into 2,600, you get $3,600, almost $4,000 monthly net cash flow if you were to self-manage. So that equals to $1 million portfolio to use. You need 40 years to save up. And you go to a financial planner at retirement and they say, you can only withdraw 4% of your $1 million so you can live off $4,000 and never run out of money. You can preserve the principal. Why go through the hassle which so few people can do, right? Most people retire with only $60,000 of a retirement nest egg, which is a tragedy. We all know that, right? But why need to spend next 30, 40, 50 years to save $1 million to achieve $4,000 monthly income for retirement in a traditional way, the stock market, Wall Street way? Real estate, all you need $70,000, right? This is not even close to being an apple to apple comparison. You know the numbers, okay? This amazing, amazing 10-year fixed rate, 3.5% down payment will give you like $500 more cash flow than a higher investment loan rate on other co-living model, even if they achieve this kind of gross rent and what have you, right? So at the end of the day, look at the numerical matrix, which I'm not going to dive into detail because I have done other YouTube videos. We strictly talk about the cap rate, the rent to value ratio, cash on cash returns. But suffice to say that the rent to value ratio in this case is 2.2%, which is mind-boggling on historical basis, the highest ever in any kind of single family home purchase of 320K, right? Debt cover ratio is 3.27. Capitalization rate is whopping 14%. The most long-term rental cash flow properties have a cash on cash return of like 6%, but you're getting 14%. Cash on cash return 44%, almost you're recouping half of your down payment money within the first year. And then we could incorporate a lot of investors do not even know what is IIDD. IIDD is inflation induced debt destruction. It's 84% return of your investment at the end of the first year. How I calculate this? Very, very simple. I add on all the cash flow annually, right? Which is 31,000 annual net cash flow. Principal reduction, right? The tenant is paying down your principal. So at the end of the day, on paper, you're getting a profit almost $5,000 return on paper. And then inflation-induced debt deduction because you're doing a fixed rate mortgage and you're debasing your dollars because you're using future dollars, which you're losing money through inflation to pay off your fixed rate debt, which is going to stay fixed for a long, long time. So that equate to a paper profit. I know this is a technical term. I'll teach you about this in inflation-induced debt destruction. I have another video for that. If you're part of my network, you will learn more about many strategies in real estate. So this equal another $7,600 of an annual net paper profit. And of course, I only incorporate 5% appreciation in this amazing, fast-growing Jacksonville, Florida housing market. A mere 5% estimation appreciation on the 320K property at the end of the first year, 16 grand of paper appreciation. You add on all those numbers equal 59,850 divided by your down payment of 71,000 equals 84%. So this is your real ROI. Okay, 84% ROI, return on investment at the end of the first year. How can you compare to a stock market will only pay you 7%? Or a crypto or Bitcoin or any other asset class? This 84% will multiple increase the return than any other similar real estate or any type of asset class for that matter in the history of the world. Okay, all right, I'm going to exaggerate just a little bit. All right. So if you self-manage, if you do decide to self-manage, it's up to you, right? Personally, I'd rather live a turnkey and spend 1 hour per month in managing my portfolio. It doesn't matter whether you own one of these co-living model portfolio or 5 or 10, or you own 30 or 40 unit property portfolio. By using the turnkey approach that we delegate to the professional property manager. So therefore, it's almost hands off. It's almost passive investment. Isn't it amazing? You're making your money while you're sleeping. You know how comfortable that is, all right? But I'm making money not by sleeping, by doing world luxury travel for all these years because I'm practicing what I'm preaching. So you guys can do it too. Hands off, almost passive investing. So you have time freedom to do the important things that are important to you, like traveling or engaging in a hobby or whatever important to you, instead of get bogged down by active management of your portfolio. All right, does it make sense? So okay, let's go on with the calculation. All right, so that's pretty much the calculation, really, right? On this simple purchase, financing 20% down payment. To recap, you can retire, but when you close escrow on this just one property, will like with either if you continue with the professional management, right? You can retire with $2,600 monthly with $31,000 annually. Yeah, some people can retire with this measly amount of money, but if you self-manage, you can reallocate the money you would pay for the property management, extra 1,000, so 3,600 monthly retirement income equal like at least under 47,000 dollars annually. So we're talking just 1 year, right? If we're talking 1 year, but of course, some of you have uh, other financial goals and objectives. Some of you have a 5 year or 10 year retirement plan, but this one property. If you retire in 5 years, your rent could increase, let's say 3 to 5% per year. So your 26 to 3,600 dollar monthly cash flow you're getting right now, with or without property management, uh, you can increase another 50% in 5 years. So in 10 years, you can double your rent. You double your rent based on inflation and based on rent increases. Instead of retiring today on this one property with 3 to 4 thousand, you can retire with $10,000 monthly net cash flow 10 years from now from this one property. I'm just sharing with you, this is a barable minimum. Okay, if you're not ready to retire, whatever the definition of retirement means, right? If you 10, 15, 20 years away, you can have the ability with the equity growth of this one property, you can do a cash out refinance. Once you reach 50% LTV, loan to value, or you can use the cash flow uh, from the accumulation of cash flow in the next few years to buy another rental property off the accumulation of the cash flow for 25% down payment to buy future rental properties, whatever type of property you want to buy. So it's all about leveraging, right? So your initial down payment you pay for this first property could be very much the only down payment coming for your own money, so you can scale your portfolio if that's your goal. You can scale your portfolio based on cash out refinance, 3, 4, 5 years later, assuming how much equity you build up. You can do a 1031 tax-free exchange. You can gather up all your monthly and annual high net cash flow from this model to buy another property in a few years off other people's money, none of your own. Your own money is just your first investment. So at the end of the day, yes, it'll give you freedom. This one property will change the trajectory of your life. You can retire one rental after you close escrow in the next few months buying this model. Okay, barable minimum, but you can do a lot more, depending on your goals. All right, so to recap, if you find the right model, the right investment in the right market, you surround yourself with the right team, right? You buy the right asset class. In this case, is mind-boggling, up and coming, skyrocketing real estate asset class. It's called co-living model. But there's more, right? We have new construction co-living model, which is amazing. The best type of co-living model strategies out there, right? So anyway, that's all I have to say. At the end of the day, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, if you have not already done so, put your email on my email newsletter on my website so you can become a free member of our real estate investing community of like-minded investors from all over the country. You can be part of our several thousand member investment community with the Yee Real Estate Network. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you received a lot of value from this presentation, and I'll see you next time. This is SeeWing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.